way I usually present this is it's easy to find articles and people can be down on this idea that classical music is no longer relevant to our culture and our society. That their music itself is relevant, but things like popular music or like rap, R&B, those kinds of things are more culturally relevant, partially because they can be culturally relevant. They can speak on issues and topics that we're dealing with now, and that these things were written in a different country, hundreds of years ago. I don't think they're irrelevant. I think they're very relevant, but I always like to ask, especially, accomplished, very caring musicians, why they think that what they do and what we do should be and is relevant to the culture that we live in now, currently.
When I listen to Bach or Brahms, Shostakovich, I guess Mahler, but when you listen to this and you feel something, it's not different than, there's a new Avengers movie out right now, which I have not seen. But I'm told that there's that's happy and sad and many feelings. The thing is that it's the music that is creating those feelings. When you watch any scenes and let's talk about John Williams. Okay, so you can say he's a classical composer. He is. But he writes for movies, and he has learned from, borrowed from, and been inspired by Bartok, Mahler, et cetera, of course. And
Dvorak being one of the obvious ones with jazz, right?
Exactly. So using John Williams as a classical composer, but it could be any of the ones I just mentioned, you put his music to a movie, and you see a scene in the movie, and then you take the music away and you see the same scene, you'll see someone dying or you'll see someone saving someone else, but you do not feel the feelings you feel until you put the music in. This means the music is creating the feelings inside us. And these are primal emotions. And this is right now a very divisive time in our country and, of course, in the world. Has been always, but what do we share? If we don't share the same backgrounds, we don't share the same education, we don't share the same skin color, we don't share the same gender, what do we share? The one thing we share emotions. All humans throughout all of time have felt joy and sadness and anger and pain and grief and loss and fear, and music unlocks this. When we hear music, all those feelings, those primal feelings, those emotions that come, they're unlocked inside of us. And we have this in common with the other people listening to that concert or listening to the music at that movie theater. They're feeling it too. So it doesn't matter if we're like them. We are sharing this primal emotion and this primal feeling. And music is allowing us the access to these feelings, and it's freeing up these feelings. And those feelings are the one thing we share with all humanity. We do share that. And I could be at a movie theater irritated with somebody crunching their popcorn bag and turning on their phone and during the movie and blah, 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 blah. But after the death scene, when there's, you feel those feelings, and then there's a rebirth, and you realize that someone is going to come to terms with this, and they can make peace with this, and you feel this, and the person next to you feels this. And it doesn't mean they're your best friend. It just means you have felt something together.
You've connected with them, and that kind of, it's a very connecting thing.
I think it is how we share our humanity is the most obvious thing is music, because of the feelings that it allows to come out.
Do you think all art does that, or music specifically?
I think music more than anything else. More than anything else.
That is? Because all art is supposed to be created in a way to make you feel some sort of
Yes,
emotion.
it does.
So,
it does. When I see dance, when I look at certain paintings,
Yeah.
I'm instantly triggered to feel things. I feel myself being opened up to feel things when I see art. So of course, I guess they all do it.
How do you feel music is different in that way?
That's a good question.
That's I asked the tough questions.
I think sound is more primal.
Yeah, I think things like sound and rhythm, especially when you feel some sort of rhythm, it becomes a part of you.
Well, they say that rhythm speaks to the feet, and melody speaks to the heart, and harmony speaks to the soul.
Yeah.
And I believe that, and that's why I miss Brahms more than any other composer, because when you're playing Brahms, you're in the soul of the piece. You don't have a ton of melodies, but you're in the harmony, and you are shifting the harmony, and you are
feeling
enlarging.
so rhythmic,
you
too.
bet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a really good analogy. I mean, you've thought about this, obviously, but I've never thought about it that way. I interviewed our music director, and I asked him, not this question, I asked him, how do you think orchestra can serve the community with which it's in? Or like, what is its role in serving the community? And he had a really great answer for it, but one aspect of the answer is he was talking about music in general. And he used film music, and he used John Williams as an example. He said he was at a concert at the Hollywood Bowl, and John Williams, I think, was conducting the LA Phil, and Steven Spielberg came out and said, you know, John Williams this, John Williams that, he's awesome, yada, yada, yada. And then he said, I actually want you guys to see how important John Williams is to my career. And they played the third Indiana Jones movie, the beginning of it, where it's young Indiana Jones played by River Phoenix, and they're on this train scene, and it's an intense, you know, it's an intense scene or whatever. They played it without the music. And Carlos said it was like this weird, awkward B movie, you know, like it was like, what are we watching? This looks so awkward. And it was, he said they used at least like a 7-minute clip. So they just kind of sat there in this awkward, like, when's it going to end? And then they played the whole, and then Steven was like, okay, now let's play it with the music. And all of a sudden it was Indiana Jones. Like, like you're saying, and you don't even, because the score is there. I did a podcast on the Harry Potter music as well. And when you pull the music away from it, the reason I did it was to kind of show what the themes are, what they represent. So then when you hear it, but it even enhanced my playing of the piece to see how he uses it, and that, like, this flying car chase thing without the music sounds ridiculous, but it's like so intense with it. And I couldn't agree more with that idea that, yeah, I love how you said that it connects you to this person. You're feeling the same thing. Even if you would fundamentally disagree on a whole lot of things, you can agree on what you felt that the music made you feel.
We are the luckiest people in the world.